Hi, my name is Stephanie Smith, and these are my 5 audience members. So the opioid epidemic is a huge problem right now in the United States. One of the issues along with that is the abuse of Narcan drug, which reverses the overdose, and then also where these people are getting the drugs. When I was a sophomore in high school, a kid in my class ended up overdosing on an opioid and passing away. And then my senior year of high school, my best friend overdosed on a couple different opioids and passed away also. My sister was addicted, and so was my cousin. So this really hits home for me, and it probably does for a lot more people out there because this is such a huge epidemic right now. So my problem is, what is being done about it right now? What can be done, what is being done, and how do we go about having this epidemic done with? The people in the U.S. have such an easy access to drugs, doctors illegally prescribing them, and then also people selling them on the streets. When I was younger, my brother was a firefighter for our small town, and we all just lived probably half a block from the fire department. And he would get calls 2-3 times a week for the same thing, opioid overdoses, all the time. And every time they just used the Narcan drug, and they would just keep coming back because these people wouldn't stop using the drug. They wouldn't go try to find help. They wouldn't really do anything. They would just keep doing the drug and saying, hey, if something happens to me, I'll be fine because the paramedics will come. They'll use this drug on me, and it'll magically just go away, and I can just keep using the drug, which isn't the case. It's not how that works. And that's why the U.S. in general is losing a lot of money on the opioid epidemic. So when people use the Narcan drug, it reverses the overdose, and it causes the body to begin a recovery process. But with the National Institute on Drug Abuse, it stated that 21% to 29% of patients misuse narcotics in the Midwestern region, and then overdoses increased 70% from July 2016 until January of 2019. And then the Harvard Medical Blog states that Narcan, the drug, inhibits opioid receptors in the brain and blocks the opioid that is present, and then Narcan pushes the drug away and blocks the receptor, and the recovery process can begin at that point. So the U.S. needs a plan and needs to put it into action soon. And then with that, regulating the drugs on harsher premises, not just out of the pharmacy, but the doctors need to understand that they can't just prescribe narcotics to anyone. They can't just be like, well, you're in a bunch of pain, here's a bunch of pills, take them. You can't do that. When people are going to the doctors, they're faking illnesses. They're saying, oh, I'm in a lot of pain, which when you are coming down from an addiction on an opioid, it does cause you a lot of pain because your body becomes so dependent on this drug that you're in so much pain. You feel like you're sick all the time, and it's really bad. So they also can get the drugs off the streets. There are people out there, along with heroin dealers, etc., that are out there selling pills on the streets. So when going to the pharmacies, I believe that the pharmacists, the doctors, they need harsher restrictions on the need of this narcotic and why. There needs to be proof that these people are in so much pain. There needs to be something that can prove that they actually do need this narcotic and they're not going to just abuse it. Because people who don't abuse the narcotics that they are prescribed, most of them don't even ever really finish the bottle that they're prescribed. Most of the time, if you're not abusing it, they just sit around and then it goes to waste. Well, not really waste, but you don't need them. But so a list from the National Institute of Drug Addiction says that right now they are looking into safe, effective, non-addictive drugs, medicines to correct opioid disorders, and improve overdose prevention and interventions. Another list by them on what they are trying to start doing is improve access to recovery and treatment, overdose reducing drugs like Narcan, strengthen the understanding of the epidemic, create more public support, because a lot of times an opioid overdose or anything along those lines is just kind of swept under the rug and ignored, and hopefully it'll just go away, which it's not going away. It's been here for years, and it's not going anywhere unless we do something about it. So, and then the last thing is advanced practices for pain management instead of just prescribing the narcotics. So, I mean, narcotics are important for those who are not misusing the drug, but the people who are misusing it, it's deadly, extremely deadly. And there's so much not being done by the US because of the budget restrictions that they do have. Narcan is a quick fix, but it won't last forever. It's costing too much money to keep it in the hospitals and ambulances, and there needs to be a long-term solution than to just wait until someone overdoses, use Narcan on them, and be back within a couple weeks to a month to do the same thing over again. It's not helping them because they just keep going back to the pills, and something needs to be done, and done quickly before more people are killed by this opioid epidemic. Thanks. And here are my 5 audience members.